Good afternoon and welcome back to Uncle Rico's Storytime. Today we're going to play a game. Why is Rico smiling? After a long time, is he about to either have sex or play hockey? That was an old Adam Sandler skit. Before Adam Sandler was on the movies, most people don't know he did awesome fake, just funny tapes when I was a kid. I had them on tape and then CDs. Him and the Jerky Boys. But he had a skit. It was so funny where he's pretending to interview people on the streets. Good afternoon. My name is Barry Lakem. We're gonna play a game. I'm gonna play play a little clip of sound, and you can tell me if these people are working out or having sex. And then it was like clips of like people panting and moaning, and then it got to the point where he was playing stuff like for guys, and it was like, oh yeah, we're two guys fucking. Oh yeah, this is so gay. And the guy's like, that was two guys having sex? Nope, wrong. Next. And he pulls up this girl, and then like they have sex on camera, and she's like, that was you having sex with me. And he's like, yep, you won. See ya. But I am out of the gloom, finally. A lot of shit was going on. Truck and mom stuff, and I am, you can't see it, but my place is just absolutely trashed. I let another friend stay here. Not sexual, but she is female. At first I was kind of hoping, but now I'm like, not so much. But yeah, what a slop. But besides that, feel like she did spur on a breakdown. I came back after drinking, and we were talking, and she goes, hey, how come you washed your face twice? And I was like, what? And she's like, you said that you were going to go and wash your face, but you already did it twice. And I'm like, I don't think so. I was probably just brushed your teeth or something. She goes, no, you went in there and you washed your face twice already. And you just told me now that you're going to go in and wash your face again, which, I don't know, I had periods where I totally forgot things, but not this bad. And I guess maybe just because everything's exasperated right now. I'm at a low point. She's cramping my home quarters a bit. It's the holidays. I think I got the holidays figured out with depression too. I don't think it's not being around family and stuff, because I don't care if I'm around my family. Yeah, I miss my nephews and I miss my little brother and little sister. I miss my mom too, but that doesn't factor into. I think it is the jovial cheerfulness that is around town. And when you're depressed, when you're alone, that's only compounded. There was 2 weekends ago. I don't even know what day it is. Last weekend, 2 weekends ago. I had a really good buddy in town, and I love hanging out with him and his wife. And it was hard to show up for dinner. And then I left early, and then I begged off the next day, And these are people that when they would come, when they would come and visit, I would cancel everything so I could hang out with them, type people. And I just didn't want to be around anybody. I just wanted to be at home with my dogs. And then my point being, I live next to a strip joint, so like I would take my dogs out, and this is when I kind of think I realized the thing about Christmas, and I would take my dogs out, and there was like a holiday party next door at the strip joint for some office, some company, whatever. And then I started to kind of realize, and I started watching, people are wearing their hats, and, they're just a lot more smiley, and it's more in your face. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but when you're battling depression and the low points of that, and it's compounded by loneliness, and then when you see it out there, you just kind of realize what you don't have, I think, and it's a slap in the face, and I think that's why a lot of us struggle around these times. So I don't know, if you are struggling at the holiday time, maybe this helps you, maybe it doesn't. When you see it, just kind of realize what it is and realize it's just, if you want to put a negative twist on it, just say, hey, these are people that are getting happy around that time. Who knows what they're like normally, and just know that it's just a period of time, and we'll get through it in the new year. And I don't know how other people are, but what gets me through these bad periods is I always know when I come out of it, I'm gonna be pissed off usually, and that's when I go and I get after it. And that's the reason for today is 2 days ago, I finally got the green light from my physician to go. He said you can resume daily activities, and I said no, like making the pinching motion, and he's like, do whatever you want to do, man. It's gonna hurt. The recovery's gonna hurt, but you're gonna know what you can and can't, hurt, but you can't do any damage to it now. And I said, so what if I wanted to hit a heavy bag? And he goes, I would highly not recommend that. What I was doing was using the heavy bag as an opportunity to go, okay, well, what about hockey? And they'd be like, oh, that's fine. You got to go reach high and then go, hey, well, I just wanted this. So he goes, that would be amazingly stupid and painful, but whatever. And I go, oh, okay, well, so 2 days ago with my back and with my neck, I was basically on a month of bed rest from this hand surgery, and then once I was okay to start rehabbing, I got a setback, so I had to do a double thing of antibiotics, and then so it was basically 2 months that I couldn't lift any weights at all, in a month where I couldn't do any cardio at all. So my back and neck are really killing me. So when I got the green light, I went out, had a workout, didn't realize, and kind of gauged down whether or not my hand was hurting, and I would fight through it. But then I didn't realize what kind of bad shape I'm in comparatively to what I am. When I'm battling my back, I spend at least an hour a day in the gym, and didn't realize how good of shape I was in to battle it. Now I'm at my low point again. I flipped out on my stretch therapist, and ended up walking out on our session. But that was something different, and that it wasn't anything that beside the point. But I'm basically starting over. I got caught in a cycle of like older chicks. They were fit older chicks, but still older chicks, and I had to keep jumping on the equipment that they were on, and I didn't have to move the weights at all. I was like, fuck, I've lost everything. But yeah, so it's Christmas and I'm feeling better, but I have a weird house guest now. I opened up the door to come in and rip out a quick podcast and let everybody know that I've recovered, and there was a surprising amount of prescription drugs on the table that was wondering why she seemed zonked out last night, which begs the question, what's better, an addiction to meth or an addiction to big pharma? Something for a different podcast. I got something now. Can take notes. But yeah, I jumped on here because a buddy said, hey man, there's open hockey. I think I'm gonna go try to goaltend, which we will see. This may not be a good idea, but you never know. Either way, through this depression thing, I know when I have long periods and I don't have my hockey, it definitely affects me. So we're going to get back out on the ice. This thing has been weird. I was at a low point. I was talking to this one girl. Her name on... I went back to that stupid website. Just because I found two girls, well, it brought me back because a super hottie messaged me. But I went back there and I was talking with this one girl who just seemed kind of, either way, recently talking with this one girl named Isabella, and she looks like a porn star, and I'm pretty close to Vegas. and I couldn't remember her name until we were chatting. Oh, before that, day before that, talking to this one cute chick on Tinder, and she's like, "Hey, I'm not looking for a hookup." I'm like, "No, I'm looking for forever. Like, I'm ready." She said, "Hey, I have a kid. I go to mom. That's cool. Whatever. I was a teacher. Like we were hitting it off." Um, Started down the road of like domestic abuse and stuff, and I go. She said her past relationship was controlling to say the least is what she said. I said, you know what? I mean, maybe in time, but right now I don't want to hear any of that. I get fucking angry. I just think as I'm old school, so as a man, I think our biggest priorities are to protect kids and protect your wives and I said I've been in had abusive girlfriends that have tried to get me, just said the worst shit to me, and they're like, "Come on, do it. I know you want to." And I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" And they're like, "Hit me." And I'm like, "What? No." That was my an ex, Yana. She was from the street. She had anger issues. She said one time we got in an argument. She's like, "Say it, fucking say it." And I said something really mean that I regret, man. But it was about her personal hygiene. It was, and this is the thing. This is the thing that I realized when we had this fight is racist terms, like offensive terms. When you say an offensive term, most of the times those people aren't that way at heart. They are saying you have gotten them so angry that they will say the only whatever thing they think will leave a mark with you. And if there's race involved, usually go right to race. I had an argument with my ex, and she was saying hurtful things, and I was, gearing up, and she started really fucking going at it, and she's like, "Oh, you think you don't want to fucking lose your head?" Like she was trying to get me to, and she's like, and I go, "You know what?" She's like, "Fucking," I go, "Never mind." And she goes, she's like, "Say it, say it." Oh. She goes, "Say it. I know you want to say it." And I said something that was really mean, and I still haven't apologized to her, and I feel bad because we chat now. She had anger issues. She got help after we broke up, but I said something, and it was about her personal hygiene. But she's like, "What the fuck?" She was saying stuff. She's like, "You know what? I always lied. I'm okay down there, okay?" And she's like, "I lied. You have a small dick." And I was like, "Nah, I've never heard that one. So, like, fuck off." And she kept trying to, and I when I said it, I felt horrible. But when I was about to say it, I stopped myself. And she's like, "Fucking say it, say it." And I said it. It was about her personal hygiene. And then she's laughed. She's like, "What the fuck is wrong with you?" And I was like, "What?" And she's like, "Fucking say it." And I was like, "What are you talking about?" And she's like, "Call me an N-word." And I'm like, "That is that what you're trying to get me to do?" That was not at all what I was holding in. I have other stuff. It's not that word. But that's what kind of made me realize when people say stuff like that. That's it's. I don't know what the hell I was talking about, but yeah. So I got this. So this one girl abusive, and we went down that road, and we started down that road, and I was like, I fucking hate. I lose my shit when I hear stories about kids or women getting abused, so I can't handle it. And then we started talking about other stuff, and I'm like, seriously, like if there's definitive proof about like rape, convicted, I'm okay with castration. Like it sucks right now. This world is set up by these judges and these people of influence. It's kind of a hobby. So these guys are getting slaps on the wrist, you know. I think it's the worst thing that you can do to another human being, because if you murder them, their suffering is over. If you rape them, you've affected their whole life. And I think something needs to be done that affects you. So that's my view on that. And I go, "Sorry, I was stoned." So I was like, "Shit, sorry." Went a little overboard there. And she's like, "No, we're on the same page." So we're chatting, and I don't have a filter, so we made it pretty far. And then something happened where I was like, yeah, usually put my foot in my mouth or something. Usually it's right out of the gate, like I say, babe or chick or something. And she's like, yeah, that never would have flown with me. And I go, I understand how a chick can be, but babe, honey, sweetie, like that's fucked up. And she's like, yeah, I would have unmatched you right away. And I'm like, seriously? And so this started down this whole thing. I'm like, seriously? And she's like, yeah. And I go, well, it's a good thing you gave it a chance because it seems like we're a pretty good match and everything. But now that this is a trigger thing for you, that's a huge red flag for me. So I don't think we have any further. We're not going anywhere. And she's like, and okay, now it's my turn to ask you, are you fucking serious? And I go, yeah, I think it's a huge hang up for a woman to think that each greeting needs to be personalized. If you have a problem with me saying, I could say every woman I meet throughout the day, I could call her beautiful. And if you're pissed off that I'm giving out compliments when I call you beautiful, or you honey, or you sweetie, that's your fucking problem, not mine. That's your fucking hang up, you psycho. So I pieced out of that one. And then this girl hits me up, Isabella, and she looks like this porn star, and I can't place it, but she's my type. She's cute, little thin maybe, but either way, older. Under kids, it said I'd rather not say. So we start chatting, and she had a 10-year-old kid, and I was like, you know what, this is weird. But I did volunteer big brother, little brother, and my little brother is actually graduated now, and he's doing an internship. And great, and we still talk, but I was thinking about doing it again. And that's not weird. I'm not saying like I want to raise your kid. I'm just saying like I'm okay with kids. Like pump the brakes on that. I don't mean to freak you out. And she's like, oh, that's really sweet. So we agree to meet, and driving over there, I realize who I think it looks like. Her name is Ariana Marie, I think, is her name. And I show up, and I'm still not entirely sure that this girl wasn't, because she could be a very skinny version of this girl. Plus, when I showed up and saw her, I was like, oh, okay, it wasn't. And then when she acted later, I was like, okay, maybe it is. So I picked this girl up for a coffee date, and she's cute, beautiful, okay? Start driving around, and she giggles, and I go, what's up? And she goes, well, she goes, well, I really shouldn't say. And I go, honestly, I'm a fucking rarity when it comes to, you can just say whatever the goddamn hell you want to say whenever. I mean, we could have problems, but I have very little filter, so go for it. She says it, but I couldn't hear. And then she starts laughing, and I'm like, what? And she starts laughing, and I'm like, no, I'm serious, I didn't hear you. And she's like, ha ha ha, sorry, I'm just so flustered. And I'm like, no, I'm serious, what? Like, I didn't hear you, what you said. And she goes, oh, can I move in with you? And I'm like, holy Jesus, what? And she's like, ha ha ha, and she starts laughing, and I go, well, I mean, this isn't like, are you having problems? Like, are you on the streets? Or living in a hotel, like I picked you up from a. And she's like, yeah, I'm in a month-to-month there. I signed up for 6-month lease, and then they were gonna kick me out, and I had to fight, and so I get a month-to-month, but it escalates every month and everything. And I go, well, it's, I mean, kind of weird, but I mean, I have a spare room. I've done it before I just did it before with a friend that I thought I was helping her with, but she was an addict. So as long as she's like, oh no, I don't, I don't do any of that. So I'm like, I mean, this is kind of weird, very weird, but you kind of got me at a fucking very weird point in my life where, like, yeah, probably. And I'm like, I'm just to be honest, I'm attracted to you in person. She's like, oh yeah, you're a lot cuter in person. I go, okay. So, I mean, instead of, do you want to get coffee? And she's like, not really, I don't like coffee. And I go, okay, well, do you just want to come over to my place? And she's like, yes, that's what I was going to ask you, is if, why don't I just come look at your spot? And I'm like, okay, well, like I told you before, I'm living on a self-storage site. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's a nice house. the best part about it is like no bills, but it's not like, you know. And she's like, no, it's fine. And I go, and I've been single my whole life, and I just got done with hand surgery, and my cleaning lady hasn't. So it's, I mean, it's a pigsty. It's not a pigsty. You don't walk in, and there's not animals and bugs running around. I'm crazy about that. I'm clean, but I'm a dude. There's a heavy bag in the living room, you know. And she's like, no, that's fine. So I brought up my dog. She goes, no, that's fine. I bring her over, and she's doing a weird thing in her head. And she's like, starts crying after a while. Because we hang out for a while. And I was doing something. I was telling her about something. And it was a nice story, a compassionate story. It was about Zeus, I think. And she almost starts to cry. I saw it, but I didn't, you know. And then later on, she starts to cry, and I'm like, what's up? And she's like, this is just not what I thought it was. And I'm like, or this is just not what I thought it would be. And I'm like, well, you know, sorry, I guess. You know, I mean, you just thrust this whole thing. I go, it's cool. I don't mean to fluster you or whatever, but, you know, that's fine. I go, we can go right now. And she's like, yeah, that'd be fine. I'm so conflicted. Like, I know what I should do, but I can't do it. And I just don't know if I'm a horrible person. And I'm like, I don't know what you're going through, you know. But you explained it, and it doesn't sound that bad, you know. I don't know. I mean, offer to store your shit is still on. You know, I have an RV, clean out and live in that. And she's like, God, no. So I thought, you know, she kind of thought she was going to come over and see like a mansion or maybe a wing that she would be able to hang out at or whatever. But I was like, I mean, it's cool, whatever, you know. And we're driving home, and I'm just quiet, listening to music. And she brought something up. She goes, oh, I told her, she asked about Zeus and the charity, and I told her about the charity. And then she almost starts crying again, and then she looks out the window, and then she turns back to me, and she goes, and I got my music on, and she goes, do you think I'm ready? And I'm like, what? Do you think I'm ready? And I go, what? And she goes, do you think I'm pretty? And I go, yeah. I'm not the one, like I told you, if you're going through some bad shit, like you can crash here or whatever, like no, like whatever. I mean, and if you wanted to just like move in immediately and be my live-in girlfriend, you did seem cute before, but now it's a little, you know. And she's like, no, I get it. And she's wiping it. And I'm like, well, that's not it. I go, I thought you were really beautiful on your. One thing that I found weird is on her profile, and why I thought she might be a porn star is because on her profile she has all of her pictures without makeup on. And I said at this point on the drive home, when she like subconsciously wiped away her makeup, I go, look, I thought you were the biggest thing that I was attracted to about you was that you didn't have any makeup on your pictures. And she's like, I have makeup on. And she got mad, and I was like, no, it's a compliment. I was like, if you did have makeup on, it looked natural. And she's like, she said something else and then twisted it into like, well, women can wear whatever. And I go, hold on, that's not my point. My point was my personal preference is very little makeup, and you looked beautiful without any makeup. I'm not saying you don't look beautiful now with your makeup on, because she said something about how long it took. It took 2 hours to get ready today. And I'm like, that's not what I mean. You know, I was like, you could have showed up in your pictures. And she's like, I'm wearing makeup in my pictures. And I'm like, either way, the answer to your question was, do I think you're pretty? Yes, I did. I still do. But it seems like you have some things about makeup which are my. Either way, yes, I think you're pretty, but you're not interested in me, so I don't understand. And she's like, oh, no, it's nothing. And then looked out the window. I was like, holy shit. So then still in the middle of this, I start re-talking to this other girl. And she hits me up, and she goes, hey, what's going on, blah, blah, blah. She goes, hey, look, I've been staying at my mom's, and I'm freaking out. We start talking. She basically says, can I crash you once told me that you could crash at my place, and I'm like, Jesus Christ. I go, I don't. I just had a really weird thing, and this is not good, and I didn't. I go, probably not. And she's like, okay, well, I lied. I just had a restraining order on my mom. We got into this fight, and I'm like, so where are you staying then? Then things got vague. Oh, rewind it on the first girl. The first place she wanted me to pick her up was like at this Ritz hoity-toity place in Scottsdale where my buddy just was, and I'm like, what the Frank? I go, you know what? I go, I think you're looking for something totally different. I go, I was in that bougie scene. I don't want it. I'm looking to retire in a mountain. And so then she starts flipping out. She's like, no, I had a family emergency. I'm just sitting here, just staying here. I don't want that either. And I go, either way, I think you have the wrong expectations of me. I'm a disabled veteran. I'm living in this house just because it's free bills and it's allowing me to build on land that's going to be off grid and very rustic. Think cabin. Don't think run away and have a weekend at the cabin by the lake cabin in the Hamptons or someplace. Not the Hamptons, but maybe the Rockies. This is like a fucking Rin Tin Tin, old hermit cabin type. Not that bad, but I'm over exaggerating to like. She's like, no, please don't freak out on me. So then once we started talking, I was like, it doesn't sound like you're in an emergency at all. You're in a month to month, and you don't like the. We should move in together. And then talking with her, she was like, well, I was thinking maybe we just get an apartment together. And I go, I have 2 places that I don't pay rent on right now. Why would I want to take that expenditure on? Like, so she's like, well, I should come look at your spot. Jesus. So then there's this other girl, and I go, look, shit's really. And she goes, well, I lied. It's bad. I go, okay. Where am I picking you up? Oh, before the end of that, when I told the one girl that I was like, it's too far. I said it's too far before, and then once I Googled the address, I was like, oh my God, you're in Richie Rich land. So then she hit me up. It was like, no, come on. No. And she's like, here, let's meet at this place. This is my normal place. And it was like 20 minutes away. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I'll pick you up. We'll have coffee. I'll see. And that's when I picked her up from a place. It could have been one of those rental places. Either way, it doesn't matter. She was weird. This other girl was like, I pick her up, and I'm going through my own thing. So I think she was trying to be sexy, but I'm like, And now it's progressed to, she's more like the annoying roommate. But she leaves her shit all over the place, and the dogs are fucking grabbing stuff. I don't need them to eat up one of her medicine bottles, for God's sakes. But, yeah, kind of seeing the bottles makes me question whether or not it was her mom's fault with that restraining order, and who the restraining order is actually on. But I don't mean to judge a book by cover, I guess. If she's got something mentally going on, who am I to throw stones? But, yeah, wouldn't be the first time I dated a nut job. Jessa used to have hypochondriac, all sorts of, like, anything, any disorder, she had it. I'd walked in a bar once, and she started having a panic attack when the bartender came over and asked us what we wanted, and I ordered, and he's helping her, like, got her water, and Like, she's telling him, like, oh, I have these all the time. I usually have a paper bag. He's like, I have a plastic bag in the back. Will that work? And she's like, maybe. And he's like, going. I was like, can you grab me a vodka Red Bull? And he's like, what the fuck? And I go, oh, she has these all the time. I was a big dick, but she did have them all the time. I was like, man, I just want to get my vodka Red Bull quick. He's like, he brought her bag. He's like, you're a huge asshole. And I go, I know, man. It's not. Yeah. Well, I go, all right. I just ended up having somebody else get the drink for me. But Jessa was my. It's funny because I was talking to my sister. I got really frustrated with the rehab stuff, and I've got some anger and with the pain. Because as I'm getting back into this, I'm starting to do workouts, and then it hurts my back and neck. And I've been listening to this dude Monrovia, and I joked with my sister. She's gay. And I go, yeah, it's like a less gay version of Maroon 5. And then I was like, actually, they're like not gay at all. I go, a less whiny version of Maroon 5. They're not gay at all. I know from experience. That ruined things with Jessa. Me and Jessa had this on and off again. She was with this abusive boyfriend when I first met her, and so we dated a long time without ever actually doing anything. And then once we started doing it was a battle to get to proceed sexually with her because she didn't want to go down the same route. I guess I was catching on the end of her exploration voyage. She had done some stuff which came into play later. A good buddy of mine told me he had videotaped her. I kind of ended things with my good buddy. But yeah, she we started to get hot and heavy, and she was always really obsessed with Maroon 5. She would play the song Secret Lovers or something like that. She would always play this. First time we'd hang out, she would play it on the jukebox. She'd always play it on the jukebox. And she'd be like, hey, the song's about you. And I'd be so drunk and trashed. I'm like, I don't know. Break it down for me, give me the crib notes. I'm like, I'm listening to something about car vents, like a hot tub. And so she would always play it. She would never break it down, because she didn't want to say that she wanted to have sex. We were doing the foreplay, flirty thing. And then I would get super drunk and, make some very passive moves, and she'd shut me down. That was our thing. But once we started to get into it, and we kind of started to let our boundaries down. We were both very guarded. She went on to a concert down in Kansas City, to a Maroon 5 concert with a friend. She said her friend had these tickets, and so she went down there, and I was like, man, these chicks are hot enough to get on the bus. And I think that's what happened. I've had two musicians not steal chicks, but cock block my chicks. Maroon 5 did it permanently, and then there was this dude G-Love and the Special Sauce. I had this thing for this girl in Hudson. She just had beautiful brown eyes, Anna. And Anna ended up in Madison when I had my restaurant. I was like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna, invite the girls to the restaurant after the concert and everything like that. So that they blew me off for all of our plans. And I'm at a bar getting drinks, and all the girls showed up. Lexi and Anna showed up, and I was like, holy shit, what's up? Like, what the fuck? And they were like, oh my god, we totally forgot you, we're on a tour bus, blah 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 blah. I was like, what? They're like, yeah, we're on G-Love's tour bus. Like, we're doing it before the show, we're hanging out at the show, they invited us after the show. And I'm like, you girls are getting fucked. And they're like, what? No. And I'm like, oh, sorry to say that, but yeah, one of you is getting. And they're like, no. And I was like, well, hit me up after, And they're like, come on the bus with us. And I was like, no, that's not. And they're like, no, it's totally cool. And I'm like, no, they're totally cool because you're two hot chicks. No. And they're like, they would love you. And I'm like, no, that's not gonna. no, but have fun. Hit me up afterwards. They never hit me up afterwards. But this one with Jess, she went to this Maroon 5 concert and then came back, and she was always on my nuts once we started to kind of break down the border. And then after that concert, nothing. She came home and I didn't even hear, and I knew this was one of the things where like the Brad Sarah childhood thing, intuition with Carly, not Sarah but Brad Carly thing. This was that intuition thing where I was like, man, I know what's gonna happen, you know. So I chalked it up. But she had came back and never texted me, and I was like, and then at one point it became a game. I was like, let's see how long. She goes, I think it was a couple of days, and or maybe we ended up working. I was at the Dubliner when we were working, and she it came. I was like, hey, she's like, hey, how's it going? And I'm like, it's fine. Like, how's the concert? And she's like, oh my god, it was so much fun. She's like, they invited us on the tour bus, and I'm like, yep. And it was weird. Like there was even one. It was different after that, and I was okay with it. But she was like obsessed with Maroon 5 with her friend, wouldn't she? Just always fucking talking about them. She would be quiet when I'd walk around. So I was like, yeah, you got fucking passed around on the bus. That's fine. But there was one night where I played the song, and she went outside. She went outside to have a cigarette, and she doesn't smoke. I was like, where are you going? And she's like, oh, I just need a minute. I was like, yeah, okay. But we're still friends. I see her around. But yeah, that was just yeah, let's see what else we got going on. What do I have in my little black book of thoughts, random thoughts? I was, you know what? Let's save these. I gotta go play some hockey. We'll see how it goes.